All right, welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me, as always, is our Dynamo Delta deviant, Bethany McChesney, fresh off the heels of her Honor Series victory.
hmm
Did you like the honor medal? I think the honor medal looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it. It was
Yeah,
pretty
you know.
cool.
Do you want to start there? We'll start with Brimacombe.
Yeah, we should start there.
All right, so yeah, you raced it. I didn't do nothing. I was just taking pictures.
Yeah, this is so I've raced Toronto Spartan since 2017. It was my first Spartan race in 2017. 2020 and 2021, it didn't happen. But otherwise, I've never missed the Toronto Spartan. So it holds a special place in my heart. Um, Yeah, it was a great year this year, I think, for course design, weather, attendance. Definitely a high to start off the Canadian Spartan Series. We had a sold out day on Saturday, 3,500
Yeah.
people, and then also a very full day on the second day, 1,500 people for the sprint. They did have on the Saturday a super and open sprint waves in the afternoon as well. So it was a full day on Saturday and one of the busiest festival areas I've seen there since probably 2017. Um, yeah, weather was great. They ran a different course this year. Sometimes when you go back to the same venue, you kind of feel like you're doing the same thing. But this year they reversed a lot of it and added a bit more vertical. It was super runnable, a lot less mud on the first day. I know the second day looked a little bit different,
Yeah.
which just made it so nice and runnable. Yeah, and I heard a lot of people say that it's one of their favorite Toronto Spartan courses that they've ever had. So just yeah, really nice course design, lots of running, all of the obstacles. So yeah, it was a good day, all in all. Mhm.
So individually, though, you're racing, and actually, hold on a sec. You said about this festival area really busy. What got me was the parking lot. Like just going back out there and seeing just tons and tons of cars. Like it really shows that Spartan is still really popular, especially with the open waivers. Like they
Yeah.
just still love it.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I would assume then trying it for the first time and wanting something new now. And again, living and working in the fitness industry, I feel like people are finally starting to come around again after COVID and like, hey, I need to challenge myself and do something, sign up for something. So it helps to motivate my training. And I think it really showed this weekend with like a sold out day. And Toronto's not, as far as venues are concerned, it's not one of the venues where people go for the venue.
No.
Um, we're not talking like even Tremblant is a beautiful venue. Blue Mountain's a beautiful venue. When you get out west, they all are, but Rimacone's like, meh, you know,
It's a
but
little ski hill.
yeah, it's a little ski hill, and but its proximity to Toronto helps with its numbers for sure. It's a drivable in the morning for Toronto people, and um, yeah, to sell out is really encouraging, I think, for Spartan. And yeah, I would say it was a lot of those numbers were coming from the open waivers, which a lot of them are doing it for their first time. So it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, when I got there first thing in the morning and I was like kind of looking around and it was very early start at 7 a.m. and whatnot. And it was fairly vacant. Like there was not a
Mhm.
lot of people there. And I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't look good. And then by the time we left, like I left at like 11 a.m. or something, and it was just madhouse, just packed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
chaos, super long lines at Reg. Like not bad mouthing registration, but I'm just saying there were so many people there
yeah.
getting ready to
And
go.
they had to open up like auxiliary parking, like further down and stuff,
Yeah,
just to fit all the cars. So people were parked in fields like all the way down the road. So yeah, it was a packed venue.
it was good. So your personal race, because this is you back at it again. How did it feel coming in to? Because I know you're not training near as much. Like hill
No,
running and technical running and stuff like that.
I'm really not. Usually, a lot of my off season is focused on obstacle course racing. We've just made a pretty good shift towards hybrid racing, and so a lot more flat running. Not very much trails. We've in the last few weeks we've gone out to our local ski bump twice. So
You
that
know,
would be all the vertical. It's not a mountain. It's not. Um it's 3 minutes bottom to top. So running. If you're running it fast. So yeah, it's not. So we went out a couple times and that's really all as far as vertical that I've been doing. However, I have been there's some things that I've been doing in the gym to prep my legs a little bit better, which I noticed was actually really effective on the downhills. I always find this race really blows up the my quads and the eccentric loading going down a mountain because again it's not something I train at all. So in the last few months I've been just trying to prep some of the eccentric loading in a different way in the gym, and I felt really good on downhills probably for the first time ever at the Toronto Spartan since 2017. So I think that was really effective, just the shock absorption. um and this one again had more vertical and up and down than before. So I was very happy with how the legs felt. Yeah, and but my obstacle game, again, I was like, oh, I'll be fine. Like it's Spartan obstacles. We've done them before, but monkey bars was one of the first obstacles. And aside from pull-ups, I haven't really done a lot of grip stuff. And the hanging from one arm stuff, I was in the middle of the monkey bars and thinking, this feels really hard. I don't know why this is so difficult. And I did fail monkey bars, which is,
oh,
oh
I
my
didn't
God.
know that. I knew you twanged your
I
finger.
Yeah, so going for the bell, I swung for it and I hit my hand on the last bar of the monkey bars, and yeah, so and I fell off right at the end going for the bell, which is such a bugger.
How was
But
the penalty loop on that one?
it wasn't that bad. No,
No.
I didn't I did a couple penalty loops, and Olympus was bad because you kind of went about halfway down the mountain and then back up. But otherwise they weren't too bad. Um I like I don't know, maybe it was still probably 150 meters.
Okay.
We
Okay.
went through a creek and stuff. So the penalty loops at this one typically they weren't smooth running. They'd be like, "Okay, go through this bush."
Yeah, I'm more concerned like time wise. Like I did notice that I didn't get a chance to run around and see all the obstacles and do all test all the penalty loops like I did at Blue last year. But I did notice that the penalty loop for the spear, I thought while I watched people run it was pretty good. Like it definitely
Um,
um like in Blue we commented how that you were actually quicker to just go tap the obstacle, run the penalty loop than you were to throw the spear. This
yeah,
time was not the
I would
case.
say I would say 45 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
A little light. I'd like 60 to 90 seconds, but that's not bad. That's
Yeah,
not bad.
it depends. I feel like it does depend on the obstacle for sure. Like
Oh yeah.
Olympus, you fail Olympus, you should have a good run going.
That should be at least 90 seconds.
Yeah, and same with Stairway to Sparta. That
Yeah.
obstacle itself takes a long time. It's my least favorite obstacle, and I will admit I don't generally force myself to do it. Sorry. With it being run loops now, it really changes the game as far as um if you know you're running a 200-meter penalty loop, it's like, okay, what sometimes, and this is what I do. Stairway to Sparta to me, being just slightly over 5 feet tall, is a completely different obstacle
Yes.
than for a 6 foot tall man. It's not even the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a jump plate. I still, from the jump plate, have to jump to get the first hold, and I can only get the one hold. That is very different than a man who can go up, or woman who can go up and grab two holes and hold and be able to pull themselves up. It's not the same. And it's kind of scary. It's playground grips, so they're slippery even with just dew on
Yeah.
them. And I don't want to fall off of something um and put that much effort into something that takes me so long to just get on the obstacle. So I have definitely, since they started run loops, not really. I don't know if I've done Stairway to Sparta.
So
I
hot.
grab it. If it's dry, I might try it. If not, I'm like, nah, I'll run 200 meters.
Little tip for everybody out there. The block on Stairway to Sparta is not exclusively for women. It does not say so in the rule book. So if you're a short dude and you need the block, go for it.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
I thought the blocks were exclusively for women.
it says so for almost every other obstacle, but it does not say so for Stairway to Sparta.
Actually, that's true because I've seen videos of men using it. Well, and then so then it is completely different for anyone.
Yeah. And it's one of those obstacles that I'm with you with. Like, I don't mind it as an obstacle. I think it's kind of cool, but I don't like that the starting point is so difficult to get to. Um,
I can
yes,
do the obstacle. If
yeah,
we had a lane where women could go and there was two holds that were just a foot lower, that would be fantastic.
yeah. And the thing is to me, like, I think that as long as the point of the obstacle is to make it hard so that you have to like literally kind of almost do a pull up on those holds.
Yeah.
And I don't think the challenge should be getting to the holds, much like the same principle as having a higher step to go to the monkey bars, right? The challenge
Yeah.
is not to get on the bar, it's to get
Yeah.
across the obstacle. So I really think that they should just add more, lower it down a bit, because even with the guys, right? So if it's a little lower, great, whatever, who cares? But I think, yeah, I it's an
Yeah.
obstacle that I really like, and yet in principle I have issues with. Because for me, an obstacle like that is great because I can get to the holds and then I can pull up very easily, right? I don't struggle with that one.
Hmm.
But I will admit if the holds were 6 inches higher, that would be difficult for me,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
So I have to match my hands on one
yeah,
hold, just to get up to grab a second hold. And then when you're thinking about the effort it takes just to get to that point and then get your feet up maybe, and if it's slippery and then to fall,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's why I hear people calling like, I want a 10-foot wall. I want a 10-foot wall. Why? It's just, you're just testing jumping. That's all you're testing. The difference between a 10-foot wall, a 6-foot wall, a 7-foot wall, an 8-foot wall, they're all the exact same thing, except you have to jump higher. So all you're testing is who can jump
Right. And again, all
and
you're
who's
doing is
tall.
making it taller, harder for the short people.
Yes.
Like a 10-foot wall is just ridiculous for someone 5 feet tall. Like, come on.
Yeah. So speaking of height advantage, how was the bear crawl or how was the barbed wire crawl?
I smashed that barbed wire crawl. So the barbed wire crawl was right after the monkey bars, and the monkey bars was really the first obstacle. We went up the mountain, went over a wall, down the mountain, ran a little bit of single track, and then the monkey bars. And I had a pretty good gap actually by the monkey bars, and I fell off right at the end. So by the time I had finished my penalty loop, the second place girl, Elise, had caught me. And then we went into the barbed wire crawl, and she went in it about 20 seconds ahead of me. And I was like, make your move now. She's a tall girl. And I flew through the barbed wire crawl. And she's looking back and she's like, how are you doing that? I'm like, I'm short, Elise. It's not even, but that's the only thing. And again, in the moment, you don't realize, but I have a pretty good barbed wire
Yeah.
scrape on my back, and it did catch my little fanny pack, and it punctured my pack of pickle juice, and
Oh,
yeah, so I didn't have the pickle juice for when my legs started to cramp later, but it's okay. But yeah, my hair got caught, the usual, but I sent, how do the kids say it? A
full
full
send.
send. Yeah, in the
Nice.
barbed wire crawl. Yeah.
Full send barbed wire. Um,
Hmm.
so the multi-rig was just rings, right?
No, there was a horizontal bar. They
Okay,
said,
good.
yeah, Bear said it in the pre-race course description that it was just rings, but it was the typical
Yeah.
rings,
I,
horizontal bar rings.
I wasn't understanding that. I was like, why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. But
Yeah.
well, I'm glad it was the same. I mean, I
Mhm.
miss the ropes on the end, but whatever. Nobody was using them anyway.
Right, exactly. Then there's no point. So,
Yeah. Then the rest of it, like anything else stand out on the rest of the race? Because you had like a pretty good race. You came in still, I would say when you got to the spear throw, you were maybe around that 60-second leadish, somewhere around there. Sound about right?
yeah, yeah, I would say. I know we both, Elise and I both failed Olympus,
Mhm.
and then that was a long penalty loop. So, and then yeah, I got my spear. And so she was right there the whole time, and that's kind of how the races go with Elise and I, and
Hmm.
we have a very friendly rivalry. And the girls said that they found the hoist was after that, before the final climb, and then back down. And I think just I have been training so much Hyrox sled pull that the hoist was fine for me, and the girls really struggled. They all said that was the heaviest hoist they've ever felt, which is odd for a dry day.
Yeah, it wasn't raining. Yeah.
And it was fine for me. So I think that that's where the gap, because at least I know some of the girls said they could barely do it even. So I'm assuming it took them a significant more time than it took me. So I think that's where the lead actually spread out a lot. Um, yeah,
Well,
so then yeah, final climb, and then the finish was different than usual. There was no fire jump. It was the inverted wall into the finish line. So it was kind of a fun way to finish, bomb down the mountain, go over a wall, and then cross the finish line.
yeah, I like that inverted wall finish. The other thing too, in when you say that some of the other women struggled, I think at least used the exact same lane that you used.
Oh, because it had you look for the knot that's a little bit higher because it's like, 3 inches less that you have to move it at the top. So
Yeah, I want to
yeah,
say like it was a very popular spot, so I think you both
yeah.
made that one.
Mhm.
And as well, at least Mr. Spear Throw. So that was like when you kind of, I would think when you went going into the spear throw, it was still a race that was up for grabs because had you missed
Yeah,
and she hit, it would have been
it
neck
would
and
have
neck.
been neck and neck again. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was definitely good. And then had a great battle between Susan Snitinsky and I think I got that time. I think I did it.
No.
And no, well, what is it?
It's
I said
Snitsky.
Snitins? Yeah, whatever.
Susan
McFarlane.
and Sarah.
Susan and Sarah had a
Oh.
great battle for battling it out for third with Sarah edging that one out. So it was good. It
Mhm.
was a great race though. And it was fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. And congratulations. You know,
Thank you.
you did well. You did well. By the way, I have deemed myself, I am the best finish line interviewer. There's no doubt about it. I do the best finish line interviews.
Yeah. Yes,
Um,
you caught
and
me
then
off guard.
twice.
Yeah.
Um, and then the men's race. Jesse Bruce back out doing Jesse Bruce things, just
Yeah.
looking super fit, running well, killing obstacles. Just
Hmm.
like I said, Jesse Bruce doing Jesse Bruce things. And then followed by Tyler Krujaninsky had a good race, and I think he ended up winning the sprint on Sunday.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And
And
then
Victor Fuenmayer was third.
the
Also,
real obstacle man.
yeah. I didn't see him with his GoPro this time.
I don't think he had it this time. But I'm a big fan of him because one, he's a regular listener, and two, I mean, he's an obstacle dude. I like obstacle dudes.
Hmm.
So but clearly he can still run. He's a good runner too. So
Yeah. Well, and that men's race in the top 10 was all very close. Like 30 seconds between like fourth to 10th.
yeah.
Like a very tight race with those guys. So we have a lot of guys that are, up and comers and put podium threats in the Canadian scene. So that's also really cool to see.
So this was the first time you got to experience the new start system.
Yes,
What'd you think of that?
I liked it. Our first wave heat, the pro heat, had a significant more amount of more people than usual, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And then the waves coming after. Um, yeah, I like it. Honestly, getting rid of this people choosing to race age group and then people that choose to race elite don't get age group podiums just does not make sense to me. So we had top three are the overall podium, and then the rest are age groupers, which is how it should have always been, because then you're not choosing to race age group because, you know, it ended up making the elite heats too small. So then that first wave of the elites was just getting smaller and smaller. So there wasn't really incentive to come fourth or fifth in the elite heat when you could race age group and be on a podium. So now they've done it how it should be. I know there's some age groupers who might feel a little bit different about it, but I think this is the way that we really grow the sport and can stop deciphering between making people pick essentially. Am I age group? Am I elite? But yeah,
Hmm.
I liked it.
So I looked, I like, I mean, obviously, I talked to a lot of people, had a ton of great conversations. And by the way, thank you to everyone who came and chatted with me and stuff. Was awesome. It was nice to see everyone. And I heard both sides. I had a lot of people say they liked it, and a lot of people said they didn't. I thought there was some, like the first wave went well, and then after that, there did seem to be some confusion about who's to go, who's not to go, and that stuff definitely needs to be ironed out.
Yeah, so I had a good chat with, and this is where the age group and choosing your pace thing that they do need to sort out
Yeah.
is if you're, let's say you're an age grouper who races 50 to 55 or 55 to 60, and you're not typically going to be, you're not going to be racing the elites typically. So you're not in that first group. So then you kind of pick where you think you belong, but you wouldn't necessarily be racing other people that are in your age group in your same heat. So then it becomes very much a time trial
Yeah.
where you're just kind of racing and hoping that you finish ahead of somebody else in your age group. So I don't know the best way to do that, where they could kind of maybe decide pace three group is 50 plus in general, unless you're racing pace group one. So that's the only way I think that that would work well. But so that you can still know exactly who you're racing. Or again, the armband system, put a color armband that's your age group so you
Yeah, like
know.
you got that pro one, right? That red pro one. There's no
Yeah,
reason you couldn't have a yellow and a green and a blue and a whatever for everybody else, right? That
exactly. Yeah. And it could even be like we get those paper ones, those paper
mm,
bands. Have people put it on their ankle or
yeah,
something like that. I know it's going to get ripped off, but
at least
and
something.
yeah, at least something so you kind of know better who you're racing. But that's the only thing I think with the age group thing where it could be harder to really figure out who you're racing and who you're not, and deciding which pace group to really put yourself in.
Yeah, and there was something I thought of afterwards to mention to some of the people who don't like the current system, who are age groupers, and I just thought this came to my head just today actually, and it was in the past. I was completely against providing any type of prize money or anything for age groupers because it encouraged sandbagging, right? So if I was going to be a top 10 elite and I'm going to get nothing, why don't I drop down to age group and I can get whatever they're giving away as an award? And I didn't like that because I think if you're a top 10 elite, you race elite, right? That was
Right.
my thought process. But now, with the system it's set up, I have no issue with them giving age group awards whatsoever, like monetary or race codes or whatever they want to give away, because there's no choice, right? You're like you say,
Right.
the top three or you're done, and then everybody else after is done. So in a way, it can make the age group better. And for those of you who maybe don't like it that much or are worried about losing podiums, well, there's actually now a chance for you to get something for your podiums.
Hmm.
You know, for especially for like masters and stuff, take a guy like John Loney, right? Like they could offer money for the age groups later or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm going into the future when they
Money.
would pay stuff, money being whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Free
Yeah.
race codes. Let's go with free race codes for the plausibility scenario. Um,
Race codes or merch.
Race
Hand
codes
it
with
to
merch,
them
you know,
on the
some
podium.
something of value, right?
Yeah.
And now I don't mind that because of the way the system's set up. So that's all right. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good weekend. I think they did great. I know Spartan, the guys running the show, they seemed very happy with how it went and everything.
Hmm.
Um, and not to say anything, but I'll throw my hat in the ring for start line MC and award presentation. So just so you know, throw my hat in the ring for that job.
Hmm. Would you like to be the MC?
I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it. I mean, it's not like something I haven't done before.
Hmm.
Yeah. I've never done a Spartan one, but I would do it.
Yep.
I
They had
think
a different guy MCing this time.
yes, for which the start line or for the awards.
Both.
Both, yeah. And I don't know how they do that process or whatever where they hire those guys from, but I think I would do well. Put it that
Hmm.
way. We'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that. Anyway, all right. Let's move along. Spartan, good job. We brag on you when you do wrong. You did good. It was a good race weekend.
Yeah.
Good kids
And
race.
an epic long sandbag carry. Sometimes the
Oh,
carries
like
are
that.
so short that it's almost like
Why bother?
yeah, like we picked up the bucket to go 50 meters kind of thing. The sandbag carry was long. Thankfully it was early, but it was long.
But it
So
wasn't a 3 kilometer tire carry though.
not a 3 kilometer tire carry.
That one was a bit much.
That was um but yeah, I saw this mentioned a couple times too. They got to figure out something with the Velcro on these sandbags.
Oh,
If you grab the right sandbag, it gets lighter and lighter as you go.
worst thing in the world, Rec Bag going out of business and Spartan not buying up all their old stock.
Yeah.
Like the Rec Bags were perfect because they never changed weight. They were tough as nails. Yeah, and I do find, and I hate to say this, but our Spartan Canada sandbags seem to be even worse than the ones in the States. Except for the ones they had over in Saudi, or not Saudi, in Dubai for remember Lindsay and
Oh, well, they were the zip tied
yeah,
ones.
they're just like ones you get at Home Depot for 13 bucks for 30 or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I kind of like those ones too. I don't know. There's something that I like about like just the rough kind of thrown together. I don't know. There's no shortage of sand where they
If
raise.
yeah,
So
if they
just
held together, then fine. I don't care what
yeah,
you use as long as it holds together.
yeah.
Yeah. Best
Mm.
one though is I think strongman guys sometimes use those Iron Mind ones and you put like 150 pounds in those. Those would be good.
Hmm. Yeah, figure something out. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know.
A little bit of work on those would be good. All right. Since we're with Spartan, why don't we talk Deka's rescinding of disqualifications? Are you caught up on what's happened?
I think so. I didn't watch the podcast, but they gave them time penalties. They no longer were DQ'd. So we're talking about from the race in
Yes, NorCal.
Nor Cal. Yeah, so we had the two athletes DQ'd for not finishing their burpees, and so they gave them time penalties and rescinded their time. So they have a finishing time. It's just with a time penalty.
Yeah,
And they clarified in the rules specifically time penalties for missed reps, which maybe should have been done before, but at least it's done now.
that's right. Better late than never. We'll go with that
Yeah.
one to keep a positive tone. Better late than never. Essentially, I got what I wanted.
No, you said there should be nothing.
I did actually, and to a certain extent, I still stand by that because I believe that the judge's decision on the floor should be important. And I don't want to see video replay of everything. And I know that they've said we're only going to take Deka, essentially Deka mandated videos. So from like the OCR report or from Deka photographers. So someone like me, I can't run up with my cell phone and go, oh, I saw this video. Like you can't do that. I just think video replay of any kinds of slippery slope. I would have only allowed video replay for let's call it unsportsmanlike conduct and dangerous situations. Um, not for counting reps. So in my mind, I thought that's why the rep count should have been allowed. Now, what they did do was kind of like what I thought, what I thought should happen. My stance of nothing I knew was, let's just call it too far one way and wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
But what they did was so essentially with Jessica, they gave her a 5-second penalty for dropping the ram to match the penalty that was set previously by Robert Killian. And then they stated after this point going forward, that will now be a 30-second penalty.
Okay, I was gonna say 5 seconds is not enough.
Exactly. So now it's going to be a 30
People
second.
will drop the RAM for 5 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah. So now it's going to be a 30-second penalty, which personally I still think is a little light, but I'm not going to get bent out of shape out of that one.
No, because I think if you're throwing the RAM, you're probably in a tight race, and 30 seconds puts you out of it.
That's right. That's right. And then for Mark, he received a 20-second penalty for missing a rep. So for both of these people, they went from 2 DQs to a 5-second penalty and a 20-second penalty. So as far as their race goes, I mean, I think that's very good. The issue I have with Mark's resolution, and the reason again why I said is that his judge said 20 and sent him on his way. And I don't believe that an athlete should be penalized when the judge tells you to go. And
Except
if,
he admitted to telling his judge a different number.
yeah, but you're the judge, right? You gotta, you gotta do this thing. So in this case, what I would have liked to have seen, and they do this in CrossFit, is where the judge has made an error and you know, the, Mark didn't cheat, right? He heard
No.
20, he was
Yeah.
told to go. So in this case, the judge has made an error rep. Instead of putting a 20-second penalty on this, I would have liked to have seen like a, kind of the mathematical average of, whatever how rep time was taking him for this, right? And there's, like I said, precedence for this in CrossFit. They do it. Anthony mentioned that to me as well, that they have done this in CrossFit, where it's like, well, it took them 3 seconds to do a rep, so they penalized them 3 seconds for each rep that they missed, that the judge missed. I don't know, that's asking a lot, but I just hate the thought of a athlete who worked so hard getting penalized because a judge miscounted. And yeah, you can say Mark maybe manipulated the situation unintentionally,
Very unintentionally, of
very
course.
unintentionally. But yeah, but by his count being different than judge, so maybe that manipulates a little bit. But I mean, there are lots of times where judges miscount, and I
Yeah.
hate to see an athlete penalized 20 seconds when maybe they really shouldn't be for that. I just
Yeah, but maybe until we start to pay judges or something, we kind of have to put a bit more onus on the athlete.
Yeah, I know some people are saying, well, the athletes should all be counting. I don't buy that. Like nobody's counting 100 wall balls in Hyrox. I guarantee you
But
that.
100 is very different than
I
20.
know, but you know it. You're racing your ass off at the end. You're not counting. You're going, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I count to 20.
well, I can't because every time I get to 12, I get all confused because like from TV as a kid, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then that's it. They
And you
don't
run
go.
out of fingers after 10.
Yeah,
So
that's
then
right.
what
That's
do you
right.
do?
Then I start dropping the RAM and I'm like, oh, dang. Yeah. So I don't know. I will say this. Good decisions made, still not perfect, but good decisions made. All in all, much better. Neither of them deserve to be disqualified, and that was crazy. I was on with just Matt and them a little while ago, and I made this comparison to people who said they should be disqualified. I said, let's go back and use Hyrox as an example. Rich Ryan. He's racing Hyrox DC, puts in this amazing run, comes fifth, qualifies for Worlds, and then the judge comes over and goes, "Oh, your judge miscounted. You did 99 reps, not 100. You're disqualified. You're out of Worlds." Yeah,
Yeah.
I put some stink on it, right?
hmm
Yeah. So nobody wants that, and that's not
Yeah.
the right. That's not fair. So
hmm
I think what they've done is you can say it might not have been exactly what the rule book wanted, but I would say the rule book was incomplete, and still is. But that it had rules with no penalties. Now it has rules with penalties. So I think that they're better off than they were, and these were just penalties for these people, and I'm glad that it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the future they can continue to work more on that rule book and get it fixed up even more.
hmm
And just quickly review most of the zones, you're going to be a 20-second penalty for missing a rep. Some zones are a 10-second penalty, and then some, like the time-based, or sorry, the distance-based one, like farmers carry and whatnot, is even more like missing a there and back in a tank is like 90-second penalty. So don't do that.
Yeah. And if you don't complete 80% of the zone, it's a DQ.
Correct.
The only one that I was like, I think that should be more is if you do a station out of order, it's a 1 minute penalty.
If you go back and redo it. Yeah. Yeah.
I still feel like that one should be more.
You think so? Yeah.
Well,
And I
think
heard
about this. Would it not be a strategy to
and I
do
think I know where
the
you're going.
bike first?
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going. Um,
Hmm. Smash, like I don't know.
You could look at that two ways, because if you went and did the bike first and smashed it, you'd be smashed for the rest of the run. Maybe it's an
Yeah.
idea to do it last, where you can blow out 100% and then just stumble across the line.
But then how do you get to the line?
Yeah, I had crawl.
Do you run back and be like, oops?
But yeah, the point you're making is that 60 seconds might not be enough to it's really close to allowing it to become a strategy one way or the other.
Yes, I agree.
Um,
Make it 3 minutes.
yeah, three would have been fine.
Oh, yeah. I just think with and with the Deca Fit setup, it's a lot more like a whole different world to doing them out of order than in Hyrox. And
Hmm.
Hyrox is a 3 minute penalty for doing them out of order. And it's easy to make that mistake in Hyrox.
Hmm. When you do the wall balls first. A lot of people blow up on the wall balls, have it take 3 minutes longer.
Yeah, you would, yeah. But again, you wouldn't accidentally do the wall balls first.
No, probably not. No, I do find it odd a lot of times. Like, I don't think it's, especially Deca. Deca is set up so clean and easy. I'm surprised that people get out of order a lot on it. High rocks I can see because the rock zone can be very confusing in its layout.
And
Sometimes
things are not
it's,
in order.
sometimes they are, and then sometimes, well, most
Rarely
aren't.
are they
Rarely
in
they are.
order. Hmm.
Yeah, so it can be very confusing. So I do understand a little more of that. Yeah, it is what it is. But again, I think you could be right. A little longer penalty for that would not be a bad idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, just to avoid that strategy. But other than that, I mean, good calls, do you think? Bad calls, you agree with it?
Well, I
Disagree?
think it's a good call.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see Jessica at Worlds. I know Mark is planning to put in another time. He wasn't happy with his time anyway, so
Oh, well, there you go.
we're good for that. All right, what else do we got here? Hyrox Doha.
Hmm.
So, I mean, not a ton to say other than some more oil money,
Yeah.
more oil money, and congrats to the
Area
people who took
money.
it.
Yeah, there was more big names, I think, on the women's side that showed up. Um, yeah, when we had Michaela who was supposed to be there and she was not. She had some health issues.
Yeah,
Yeah, and on the men's side, Sandbach was there and he dropped out after the sled push with some cramping issues. So you like me to read the men's? So our
sure,
results here.
sure.
So we had a pretty big gap again with our first place male into the second. So Sadiq Al Faturi was a 57.38. So there was a lot of prize money in Doha. So again, this was definitely
7 grand for first.
yeah, which is a big prize purse. And then so he was 2.5 minutes ahead of second place. So Muhammad Ali Murabit, 1 hour 09, and Adam Corlett was 1 hour 58. So 50 seconds spread there. So that was a close race with the second and third. Um, and after Sandbach dropped out, it was an open race there for people to get on that podium. In the women's race, Meg
Okay,
took it out.
hold on one second. Were any of those guys local?
Oh, I don't know if they were from
Just
Doha.
because I had heard that there was an extra prize money for the top finishing, like somewhat local resident.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, okay.
How local?
I think like that country,
Oh, okay. I don't
or
know.
might have been the city, might have been just Doha. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I did hear there was extra prize money for the highest finishing local.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, women,
Women. So Meg took it out from the gun, 59.28. Tara Jackson put in a personal best time. Good for her.
massive PR.
Yeah, 103.33. And Jess Toll, who does reside from Dubai. So I don't know if that's, it's close-ish. 104.13. So she's also an elite 15 that we've seen on some of those start lines. So yeah, really good race with those two women. And there was quite a back and forth with those two. And Tara did eventually overtake her through the wall balls. So it was a really good race there on the women's side.
And from like a personal note with Tara, like she's been battling a knee injury recently and just coming back, so she is in good form now, looking really well. And I think this is the kind of thing that could maybe change a little bit of her trajectory as well as she did with like High Rocks is a different race than it was.
Hmm.
Right? Like I know everybody's like, no, it hasn't changed. It has. The way the sleds have evolved has changed the race.
Yeah.
And it's completely different now. So I'm not saying better, worse, or whatever. I'm just saying it's different now. And you know, it might suit Tara a little more than it did before. By the way, do you like my Hyrox shirt?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Team London Hybrids. Just pan down to the second there.
there it
Team
is.
London Hybrid. That's from a really cool gym there in London, Ontario, that has a really fantastic Hyrox coach.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. By the way, it is a good shirt. I like you said they were good shirts. I like it. Now it's a little long, and I like that
Mhm.
because like I'm long torsoed, and like anytime I do like pull-ups or something, I like a shirt that you know still goes down all the way. So yeah, so I mean, it looked like a great race. It looked like a good time. I was thinking I would not be surprised next year to see a major or worlds in the Middle East, and that way upping the prize money.
Yeah. I mean, they have the funds, they have the space. It's a booming sport there, so why not? I
And they are
mean,
getting great turnouts. It's not just like, we're getting six people. Like they're getting a good turnout. By the way, Canada, Toronto, sold out. Done.
sold out 5 months ahead of schedule. Again, I don't know what's going on right now, but people in Ontario are signing up for things.
And if you didn't get your ticket, we told you so.
Hmm.
And I will sell mine for a car, I think. Not even a big car. I like little cars.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I have a very little car. My car
Yeah,
is teeny tiny.
yeah.
The one car, and then I have the van.
Might have some scalping of tickets or something coming up.
Well, that happens, eh? Like there's a lot of fraud tickets going. Most of this happening a lot in the Europe and UK and stuff. And by the way, if you do that, you are a complete shit.
Well, I am part of a group chat, and there is a bit of scalping of tickets for New York as well because it's sold out,
Hmm.
and people
I
are
have
selling
one
tickets
of
for
those
double
also
the
for a car as well.
price.
Is New York completely sold out? I didn't know it was oh no, yeah, that's right. I did know it was 100%
Yeah.
then because I
Hmm.
know yeah a lot of people are looking still.
Yes, and I do have a client who is a male and needs a female partner. His partner has just she's injured, and so if you are going to New York and you are a female and you want to race in a mixed doubles with a very good partner, there's a spot. Send me a message.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You're not going, are you?
No, we're in Denver, Vail
Oh,
Mountain Games.
yeah, right here. That Denver trip's taking you out of Nice for the relay, taking you out of New York High Rocks.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing on my list here, I guess officially have LCQ picks. You want to go through it quick and just say who you got and who you're thinking? I can start if you want.
Okay.
Okay,
You
so I will start with the women, and there are four women going, four women that will be moving on to Worlds from from Anaheim. And so some of the names here we got Amy Bella Bevilacqua, Katie Duke, Maria Fetchik, Anch here Hards. How do you say it?
Anhi Hardez.
Anya Hards, Camilla Massa, Lauren Rentala, Morgan Schultz, Katie Simonson, Sydney Wells. I mean, those are some of the names that are going, and that is like a really solid group.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
Yeah.
also going to be a very tight-knit group. Like
Mhm.
I don't see anyone running out with this, like running away with it.
No, no, this is going to be a very strategic race because we're looking for placements. It's not really a run for time. So, yeah, it's going to be a tight race. And this is just a couple of, there's other people there that
Hmm.
are, could still be a potential to be in that top four.
Oh
This is
yeah,
just some
yeah.
of the top names that we've been, like, I know Stephanie Hillman is going, and yeah, so there's other names that are going for sure. Um, but yeah, those would be probably, as of what we know right now,
And
the
again, this is the LCQ. This is diplomatic. This is land of the free, home of the brave, golden opportunity. Anybody can go. Anybody could be in this race. So you could
yeah,
have someone jump out of nowhere and get in there. It's not,
yeah,
let's be honest, it's not likely, but it
yeah,
is possible. It's very possible someone out of the fourth wave could get in. You never know.
right.
I wouldn't bet on it, but
Hmm.
it is technically possible. Anyway, I am going with um, Morgan Schultz, Camilla Massa, Marie Fetchik, and Amy Bevilacqua. Bevilacqua. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's it. Close enough.
Yeah, Amy just narrowly missed out on a spot there where Lauren Griffith qualified, and they were going into wall balls at the same time. And Amy had quite a catastrophic wall ball
Yes.
situation. And we know Amy has really been working on that. Amy is an inspiration to a lot of us
Oh
here.
yeah.
Amy is 50, has 5 kids. Enough said. And
Yeah.
she's knocking on the doors of a world championship and she runs with these girls. So she's super inspiring. So I'm putting her in that top four. She's ironed out her kinks with the wall balls. I think she's just gonna smash them unbroken.
Nice. That'd be
Probably not,
quite a
but
change.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? Anything is possible. Maria Fessick again, our Canadian girl. I think Camilla Massa is there. She's got things back after the broken finger and everything. And then, um, yeah, I know you like so
I like
Morgan.
Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan again. It's so tough sometimes because we just don't see Morgan racing as much. Katie's been going all over tour racing. She's very consistent around that 107, 108. Kind of depends on how this race goes. Sydney Wells is a wild card. I don't know again in her first Hyrox how that might play out, but I don't know if her running is going to be up there to put in, that kind of volume of effort. So um, I'm going to toss a coin, and because she's Canadian, I'm going to say Katie Simonson is
That's
going to
more
dial
like
this one
that.
in.
And I think that if Sydney Wells had had 6 months to prepare for this and
Yeah.
get running dialed in, I would be a lot more,
Hmm.
a lot more concerned that I just shouldn't say concerned, but she would be a lot more of a threat. And she could still pull it off. But just, I think
Hmm.
she's in CrossFit shape, not high rock shape, and they are different things.
Yeah.
But I do think she is a capable person, and I hope that next year she puts a little more time into it and comes back and goes after it a little bit more. I'd love to see her
Hmm.
do well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so pretty much we're on the same boat there.
Yeah.
All
Similar.
right, all right. So let's just take a quick look at the guys here. Some of the guys we got going. Anas Zuri, Jonathan Wynn, Eric Williams, Marcus Wallace, Joffrey Voisin, Harry Thompson, Lucas Storath, Colin Stiefer, Isaac Sanderson. That is another killer list.
Yeah.
And
And again,
again,
it's gonna be tactical.
I
So,
and only two spots.
hmm.
Only two spots. And wow, like there's nobody in there that would surprise me if they got it.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
nobody that we could just go, oh wow, he got it. No, no,
Mhm.
nobody. Like I can make a thought process in my mind for every one of these guys getting like I can think so straight out. My picks are Colin Stiefer and Isaac Sanderson to go 1-2. But I could see Lucas Storath going out and taking everybody out so hot that they just can't, they just bleed out.
Yeah.
Um, I could see Joffrey Voisin going the other way. Everybody else is dying, and he goes unbroken on wall balls and passes everybody.
Hmm.
And Nas Zuri just so strong and so fast. I could see him. Jonathan Wynn has kind of underperformed his past few races, but I could see him jumping back to form. Marcus Wallace, another guy who's killer on the machines, maybe doesn't have the run. He could get in there. Like every one of them
Right.
has. I can see the story in my head where they make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so having to pick someone though, Colin Stiefer one, Isaac Sanderson two.
Yeah, I mean, my pick is Isaac, and after that, I don't know, coin toss, Colin. I don't know. I think I maybe Lucas. He's just been just so gritty the last few races. So maybe I don't know. Again, coin toss. Isaac is getting in, our Canadian boy, and then we're gonna say Lucas has his day.
Yeah,
Just be
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is really a coin toss. It's crazy how
Yeah.
close it is and how amazing. It's going to be a good race. Unfortunately, there is not any full live stream. However, Matt, Hybrid Fitness Media, they're going to be there. He's going to do it on Instagram through Instagram Live. He'll be covering, so you'll have him at the zones, at the stations, getting a pretty good update. So, I mean, it's something. And I believe that that will actually be not only on Instagram Live, but it will be as well on Hybrid Fitness Media's YouTube, in which you might have some commentary from Anthony Parasini and me. So,
Oh.
yeah, so, and it's on Sunday, it's not on Saturday, which
So this I just learned today because again, this is tricky for people. They don't tell you the start time, the official
no,
start time. You have this range, and all that they knew was that it was going to be Sunday.
yeah,
And turns out it's Sunday evening.
yeah.
So we do have well, I mean, I was talking to an athlete today who was like, I booked a Sunday flight, just assuming it would be morning, afternoon. And now these races are around 5 or 6 p.m. Sunday. And they're like, either I change my flight, book another hotel room, or I don't get to race. And that's kind of crappy.
Well, how many times have we seen Hyrox do this the other way and all of a sudden make the race Friday?
Yeah, like, but why Sunday night? Sunday night?
I
That's
got
usually, I mean, most people are working folks here. So you're usually flying out Sunday night because you got to work Monday morning.
Yeah, like even when they say when they have it on the Friday, I can almost see it sometimes because most people fly in as early as they can on Friday or try to get in early, but nobody tries to stay long.
And why not make it Sunday morning?
Yeah, I got no fucking idea.
I don't know. Now, even a
German
lot of
engineering.
night races are hard to begin with too, but like Sunday
Well,
night,
well, and think about it too. Like I know they're not streaming it, but for people paying attention in Europe, it's going to be like 3 a.m. Well,
right?
like I've tried to think about it. I cannot think of a reason to do it. Normally, if I can find a logic, whether I agree with it or not, I'll be like, okay. But I can't find, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. But either way, well,
Sunday
we got something to do for Sunday for dinner.
night.
Cool. Anything else for you? You got anything going on this weekend?
I have a trail race.
There you go. Where are we running?
Sulphur Springs. So very old and traditional trail race around here. They have 10K, 20K, 50K, 50 mile, 100 mile. I'm doing a 20K. Don't worry.
I think, is it this weekend? Or is it next week? I know Chris Otis, my buddy, he's got 100K coming up.
Not this one, is it?
I don't know. I have to
No.
find out. I know he's doing 100K soon. So he's been
Oh, okay.
putting a lot of. So for example, he when we had the last Deka at Farm Girl, he lives near Guelph and he ran home from it. It's like a
Oh,
28K run home.
oh, okay. It's a good long run.
And I have RX1 in Saint Andre Avelin this weekend, which is one of the race venues for RX1 where I have had two of my best races. So I like this venue. I love the way the rep zone is set up as what a descending ladder. So there's like five movements and you go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down through all of them. I like that
Yeah.
scheme. That works for me.
Mhm.
And it's no double unders.
Another race without skipping.
The race without skipping. Despite I have been working, I have been practicing, and I've made a 600% improvement
From 1 to 6.
from 1 to 6. Yes, absolutely. All right, Beth, let's call her a day.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and all the best this weekend for everyone racing at the LCQ. We will be tuned in. And yeah, to any other race that you have going on right now, the racing season is in full swing. So all the best, everyone. Thanks again for listening.
Take care.